to shift our focus to NXT. Have you heard about what's going to happen tomorrow night?
Tell me what happens tomorrow night.
Nobody's really sure what's going to happen tomorrow night because half the NXT roster has COVID.
Well, I can tell you this right now.
Oh, you bastard.
I have some things about NXT to talk about.
Oh, I hate you. I love that. I love it.
You like this?
I love it.
Yeah.
This is mine, right?
You know, I thought about it, but I decided since you stole this man from me.
So NXT had a huge COVID outbreak last week, or during the weekend. Apparently a lot of the backstage workers that were building and rebuilding sets weren't wearing masks, is what they're blaming it on. Not
Okay.
the fact that wrestlers are, breathing all over each other in the ring.
Well, okay, I do want to say that something's weird because we're trying to get the world back to normal, and we are pulling regulations, we're pulling a little bit of different stuff back. I was really kind of weirded out when I walked into a store today, and I was the only one in a mask with the sign outside that said masks required.
Yeah, we aren't to that point
The
yet.
cashier was not wearing one. The people that were in there were not wearing one. Nobody was enforcing it, and nobody looked at me because we're so used to it now at this point. But I was really weirded out that I was in the store, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to say what store it was.
So, let's go to NXT.
Okay, we
announcements.
are going to be treated with the amazing Stand and Deliver 2-night takeover event.
So, that week, you're going to have Monday Night Raw, Stand and Deliver Part 1. Monday Night Raw, Hall of Fame ceremony, Stand and Deliver Night 1, Stand and Deliver Night 2, SmackDown, WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, Raw. And NXT is going to go to SmackDown. Then NXT is going to be on Tuesday nights from after WrestleMania.
I heard that might not go through. So
As we know right now, that's the plan.
So one of the rumors is that will not go through. So, segment. The women are cool. Tag belts have now been made for NXT. All right. So,
I didn't recognize half the women on that stage.
Neither did I. I wrote down, this is a deep women's roster, and I haven't seen hardly any of them do anything. Also, if we just had a massive COVID outbreak, we could probably point fingers as to why. Is because we just had
At least 20.
18?
At least 20.
At least 20 women that we've not seen before standing on a stage, literally nut to butt, not 6 feet apart. Okay, but it was the ring crew. Maybe because Vince isn't paying them their bonuses, they decided to just all over Vince's toys, Okay, so I want to go ahead and just start with how stupid and aggravated and angry this is making me, okay? So, last week, the girls, Dusty Cup, because they have to mention Dusty because of what he did for NXT.
And they don't want to lose the rights. To the son who should have them.
So, the Dusty Cup that they run, where half of the matches were not contested on NXT. Honestly, when I think about how stupid some of this was, it kind of is like Dusty booking in a way. But they win a match against the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, right?
Yep.
Okay, so those belts are contested across any brand, which really it's only Raw and SmackDown. Because as we talked about, nobody ever mentions NXT except for when Edge showed up at this point, right? So
I know why this all happened.
They come in, and Adam Pearce runs down while Shayna Baszler is choking out the non-legal person and calls for the bell. They run off, they do that, and Regal says, we're going to change the landscape, okay? Why is no one upset that Raquel and Dakota got screwed out of a match and a belt, and a WWE official who doesn't work for that show has the authority to do anything, and clearly doesn't have the authority to do anything on any of the shows that he's actually on, other than go, the wrestlers just made a match with each other, it's official now, who is also getting buried by Shane, as we are slowly getting the seeds up for this point. Why does any of this stand? Why do we have contracts? Why do we have contract signings? Why none of this made sense at all, and now we have another diluted pool of another wrestling title to be defended that's exclusive to NXT, which means that the Raw and SmackDown traveling women's tag team champions are clearly considered superior to the NXT brand.
Okay. So,
tell me the backstage hoo-ha.
The plan was that the winner of the Dusty Cup was going to become NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. The belts weren't ready. So they did this messiness to compensate.
Why didn't they just do a DQ?
I don't know.
Just have a DQ. Okay, the match got thrown out.
But it also...
and just have it set up and say, you know what? The tag champs are already pre-booked in another match at Fastlane against Bianca and Sasha. We have decided, because this happened, and we want to acknowledge your brand as it is, we are creating the NXT Women's Tag Belts, so that way the winner of the Dusty Cups, who they award, they just give it to Raquel and Dakota, and they are awful on the mic.
They maybe because then you couldn't have Nia Jax having a legit point about how they've actually the only tag team that actually regularly defended their tag team championships on all three brands. Because they did. They were the only ones that did that. But anyway, moving on.
Ember and Shotzi are the only two people out of all of this who have mics. And they come in and they start cutting promos on Raquel and Dakota. They both cut awful promos. By the way, I really enjoyed the fact that Shotzi was dressed like Pizzazz from Jim and the Holograms.
Yeah.
I wrote down that this is awful, Raquel's awful, Dakota's awful, Ember's awful, Shotzi's awful. Regal is awful because he had to try and explain all this, which clearly he didn't because he fumbled his words a couple times, because even Regal at this point has got to realize they don't know what they're doing. Match 1, Io versus Toni Storm for the NXT Women's Belt.
Did Io walk down the ring like she was drunk, or was that just what she does?
No, that's her thing. That's her thing. And the thing I liked about it, so I do want to say this, I love the fact that Io walked down like that, and she walked past everybody, including the new women's tag team champions, and it was just like, whatever. Like, none of you can touch me.
I do love her music, though.
I love her music. I love her entrance. Not a huge fan of the... Oh, by the way, rewind for a second. Guess who Joe Beth's favorite new wrestler is?
You said you were going to tell me when we got there.
But it's on. It was on AEW. I forgot.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can you take a guess? Who do you think that my wife would have seen and went, oh my God?
Nutella.
Sunny Kiss. She saw the Buck match with him doing the flips and the slap and all that stuff that they were doing. And she goes, who is this? I'm like, that's a young Buck. I was like, I don't care who the other guy is. And she like looked it up and like went in depth. And she's like, it's Sunny Kiss. I was like, oh my God, that's right. It is Sunny Kiss. I haven't seen him in so long. So my wife's
Nutella's tag team partner.
Yes, my wife's new favorite wrestler is Sunny Kiss. Now, moving on.
What I love is when Sunny Kiss wrestles, JR doesn't know whether to say he or she.
Yes. Somebody at work actually asked me today if we talked about that character, and I said yes, but we try and not make it a political subject matter. We just talk about the character, and maybe if we think it goes too far, not far enough.
I don't know the proper pronoun because Sunny Kisses never came out and said it.
Yes, because I don't think he's come out with what he identifies, or she identifies as. And it sounds so bad to say it or them. I guess them is what we're supposed to say.
Sunny Kiss is an amazing wrestler and has great athleticism. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
I just use the name.
And I support whatever he or she chooses to identify as them. We're going to go them. They are amazing. I'm old, and I'm white, and I'm lame, and I'm part of the problem. I apologize.
So, we have this match with Io Shirai and Toni Storm.
Io Shirai and Toni Storm. Winner, Io by submission. What does this do for Io, and where does Toni Storm go?
I don't know, but she was sloppy as hell in this match.
You know, honestly, I wrote down this was about 2.
Yeah.
This was 2. Io was really getting just laid out by Toni a lot in this match, and... I mean, I don't think she was sloppy so much as...
This match felt so phoned in. It builds up for the next thing.
Well, the thing with it is that yeah, we've seen them have better matches that led them to having this match at this point, and it was just kind of a letdown.
Yep.
This match was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, it was huge letdown.
Backstage, L.A. Drake.
Who's going to step up?
Bronson Reed is, because you pulled him off the apron last week. Or I should say he just, front rolled off the apron. Match 2, Jake Atlas versus Pete Dunne. Why?
Squash!
I wrote down, this better not last longer than a minute. And then I wrote down, so Jake is now full evil? Winner Pete Dunne, 2-star match by submission. The thing I liked about this was Dunne was brutal. Jake was able to do his flippy flips, but it didn't take away from the fact that Pete shut him down with the joint manipulation that he likes to do.
4 minutes, 23 seconds.
This was a fine little dandy match. Both guys looked good. The tag team champs did not get involved, which hurt Dunne's win. He went clean with the submission on it. I liked everything I saw, and then Dunne basically got on the mic at the end of this and said, I'm not done with this. You people need to realize that there's a reason that I am the longest reigning NXT UK champion. There's a reason that I am where I am, and I'm going to come back and prove it, essentially. I thought he looked great. Pete Dunne, I'm sorry that you are you look the way that you do, because I believe everything about you.
Mm-hmm. He just needs to go back and fight Tyler Bates some more.
Pre-tape, Imperium speaks to Timmy, says his new girl can come along too.
that's I like it. That's pretty. You say no more.
They said there's room in this relationship for everyone. Basically, is what happened.
We want you. We respect you. Bring your friend if you need to.
Pre-tape, Leon Ruff is new and aggressive. I actually like new and aggressive Leon. I like that he said, "I'm sick and tired of everybody saying that I lucked my way into this. I can't help it. I won as soon as I got signed, but I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not a one-hit wonder. I'm not a failure. I am legit, and I deserve to be here." I thought it was good. It was a good promo. Good promo. Match 3, Dakota Sky. I don't know. I don't care. You suck. Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon for the tag belts. They held the belts for 1 hour. WTF. Ember Moon is clearly tired of Dakota Kai's inability to wrestle, and she just lays her out at one point in the match.
Dakota Kai, 1/3 of the time she's in the wrong place. 1/3 of the time the move didn't actually connect. 1/3 of the time Ember Moon was in the ring.
Yep. Ember was sick of it. And it's I don't understand Dakota.
Lana looked better this week.
Yes, and I didn't even see that match, and I can tell you this. This is the thing. It's like she's always rolling the wrong direction.
Yes.
Or she's always moving in the wrong direction from where she should be. And it's like...
Or she doesn't... It should be a great move and then clearly misses.
Is she just club-footed and doesn't understand what direction her dance feet are supposed to go?
At least she won't have to worry about a tag team partner anymore.
She's the most uncoordinated, awkward chick in the ring next to, Sable. And
Kelly had better moves.
And the thing, too, is that Dakota's been everywhere. As far as I can tell, researching into her, she's been everywhere. If this is her apex, wow.
She will never be on the main show.
Okay. Shotzi looked incredibly happy at the end of this. She sold this so well. Yep. Honestly, as much as we're talking bad about Dakota, the stuff that they did was fine. I'd say it was about 2.5. It was a decent TV match for the women's tag belts. But the brand new tag team champions for the NXT first time creation women's division lost the belts in an hour. Recap. Up next, Mortal Kombat. Backstage, Shotzi and the girls are celebrating and crying, and everyone's happy for them, and everyone just got COVID because of this. And then the wrong way. Boo! They're actually booing. Candace and Mouth Breather walk off. Apparently, Austin does watch the show. I was wrong.
I wrote Johnny Abs is sad.
And then, unfortunately, Austin's just a moron.
Because
he goes, Johnny, you paid off the shrink? He goes, yeah, it's their profession. They get paid. And he goes, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, my God. Okay.
Come on, let's go get some ice cream.
Candace laughs right on camera. And I wrote down Sin for the Man. So if anybody's a fan of Botchamania or needs a brief history lesson, there's a point in WCW in the backstage where there is, I believe it's Gorgeous George, who was the Randy Savage female Gorgeous George, and a very young Tori Wilson. And the idea is Randy's psycho and he's crazy and he's like possibly a woman beater, which doesn't help this at all. So he comes backstage and he's mad and he flips a table and he jumps up in front of Gorgeous George's face and he points his finger and Tori Wilson right on camera is like giggle laughing, and Macho Man just sees it and he looks over and smacks her right in the face. Just like, no. So there's a very famous thing on Botchamania called Sin for the Man whenever someone is caught corpsing, where they're kind of like giggling on TV when they're not supposed
that's
to.
What that means.
It shows Randy Savage smacking Tori Wilson. So I do not believe that Savage was a abuser. I think he just is pure 100% wrestling, and that was just what came to his mind of, if he's supposed to be in character of a psycho crazy person and some little girl's laughing in his face, you're going to smack him.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't mean that against women. I'm just saying if another human being is laughing at me while I'm trying to be serious, if I'm in a physical position, I would probably smack him.
All right.
Okay, moving on. So if you start laughing at me, I'm just going to pop you. All right. Match 4, Kayden versus Zai. Mortal Kombat this week with nothing. She did not have props. She just did some kata. Casey nails Zai with a crutch at ringside. This match was a complete setup for a storyline that went absolutely nowhere. Zai gets completely destroyed. Boa gets involved, snaps the crutch. The Sith Lord makes a fist. WTF is all this about? And then we zoom into the ethereal smoke.
2 minutes.
Kayden looked good.
Yeah.
I truly believe that her whole outward is tattooed at this point, because there was a section where like her tight got pulled up, and I saw that tattoo go way up into the butt cheek. So I believe her tattoo starts at the hole and goes out.
Yes, so Zai eats crutch. Johnny Cage told to take Casey out, then he eats crutches.
Yes.
And then this is probably the most exciting thing that happened tonight. Well, this was supposed to be the most exciting part of this week.
Cell phone shot. You know, I'm sitting here across the pond and heard there's going to be a takeover coming up here soon. And, you know, I don't think that the real cruiserweight champ, you know, he shouldn't be there.
Someone keeps pretending to be my title.
I think that it's time for Jordan Devlin to cross the pond, and he turns the camera around and he's sitting in an airport. Jordan Devlin is on his way to NXT. He will be at TakeOver to defend and merge the cruiserweight titles together, so that way we will get to see Jordan Devlin versus Esco Douche. Super excited for Jordan Devlin coming over. I really like him.
Great expose on Zoe Stark, because now we know who she is.
Yes.
That's all you need to know. Now we know who she is.
And she's not very pretty.
No, she's not.
Match 5, the Drug Cartel versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. Not bad. And then all of a sudden, astronauts come out. The Grizzled Young Vets freak out for absolutely no reason. Nope, it's MSK in the Breezango outfits that they were supposed to be wearing last week when they got jumped. Then all of a sudden, the Grizzled Young Vets, they lose clean to the Drug Cartel. WTF is all this about? Then Breezango comes out. They destroy the cartel. Then MSK get in the ring and proceed to dance with Breezango.
It was a lot.
They take the astronaut helmet. MSK goes to hand it to Breezango, and Breezango takes it and they think that it's like they're almost teasing they're going to hit him with it. And then Fandango, who by the way was jacked to the gills, he was huge in this.
He's been working out,
and he took the hat and he put it on him and he held it there, and then he started doing his crotch thrust at him.
Fandango-ness.
And I was just like...
It was hypnotizing.
Like, I've seen, Dancing Bear videos on some sites before where that's the move that they were doing, so I don't know what I was supposed to read from this. Okay, backstage. Io walks right up to Raquel and basically says, you're next.
I like it.
Okay, Io and Raquel, fine. They deserve it. Thatcher gets interviewed. Then out comes this man.
Ciampa.
And then he speaks for Thatcher. And Thatcher looks not happy.
No, he does not.
So he basically says, Imperium, your thing with Imperium's done. We all know that. Everything's cool. We're good. We're cool. And you know what? I got a better idea. As opposed to me and you join Imperium, which I think sucks, how about Toothless Timmy and Old Man, Tommaso? We go in and we fight Imperium next week. And he's like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. High five, walks out. And Thatcher's just like, not said a single word. He didn't even get a word in his promo. He just kind of like licked his missing teeth and was like, okay. So it looks like we're going to get the rubber match between my guy and your guy, who is actually your guy and my guy.
Yeah, basically Ciampa's like, Timmy, we're against Imperium. Yes. We're fighting them. Yeah.
And Timmy looked like, you don't speak for me the same way they don't speak for me. So I almost thought, are we getting a Thatch face turn out of this? Or is this going to be a heel turn because he's going to turn on Ciampa? Either way, if I get to see Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher in a match that won't have commercials that ruin the spot.
So like at a TakeOver?
At TakeOver for 2 nights, I will be in love because those guys might have the match of the year. Match 6.
We have 20 minutes left in the NXT show at this point.
I was kind of surprised. And then we got 4 commercials, I think, in the main event. Adam Cole versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship match.
Wow.
Winner Finn. This is a 4-star match.
Yeah.
I cannot say... I find it weird that whenever it comes to Finn's match recently, I don't take a lot of notes because I'm so dialed in on what's happening.
I wrote, great match. The parents of Kyle O'Reilly probably had something to do with the win.
Zombie Kyle O'Reilly appears. And then I wrote down, is this his normal look? He legit looks like a washed-up 1980s metalhead going to a Slayer concert. And I believe he actually had a Metallica Ride the Lightning shirt on.
He kind of looked like the lady that broke into my business.
Yeah. That's a fun little story. By the way, we'll probably have some captions and stuff up on there if you know this person, because somebody decided to kick Joey's business door in and take a nap on their couch. Meth is a hell of a drug. Cole gets destroyed after O'Reilly, the MMA guy, can't throw a punch. He was all over the place. My wife laughed, which is sad because she loved this match. She's a big fan of Finn and Adam Cole, and I think you can tell why.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, I don't think has more than maybe like 1% body fat at this point. That man has tone in places that I did not know existed because it's being covered up by my hairy fat ass. My God, these guys had a great match. Finn in the ring kind of watches everything fall out. Adam Cole begs for forgiveness, tries to jump him, doesn't work. They end up separating. Kyle beats the hell out of him, drops him on the stairs, drops him all over the place. And
this was awesome.
Finn's kind of like, okay, and then very, very coy, he goes, so what took you so long? And the camera pulls back, and Karrion is standing there, and he just...
like breathing over his shoulder.
He just leans in, and the camera... This was actually really good because they didn't overdo the audio. You just hear him tick-tock.
And fade to black.
Amazing ending to a mismatched, wonky show.
I mean, there was 3 titles presented on that show.
This was the counter to the fact that they said we're not going to run opposition against AEW last week because they have Shaq and they know they're going to destroy us. We're going to run this full card, this takeover style thing that they did. Honestly, the matches, some of them did not live up to the hype, like Toni Storm and Io Shirai. No. But we knew that at the end of the day, despite the 2 or 3 commercial breaks we had, Adam Cole and Finn Balor were going to deliver a classic match, and I want to see them come back and do something again. And now we have 4 guys in play, and 2 guys broke off to have their story, and finally, Karrion is cycling back around to the belt that he never lost, and Finn is like, I've been waiting. And the path is clear.
Yep.
Everybody who jumped in the ring several weeks ago, who had a claim to why am I not the next guy, all of those faces are cleared out of the way, and it's right to Karrion.
All right. So next we're gonna go real quick with Ring of Honor and the pay-per-view for Sacrifice, and then delete.
NXT UK this week, March 11th, 2021. Tyler Bate versus Dave Mastiff for the Heritage Cup rules style match because Tyler wants to make a run at A-Kid. Round 1, no winner. Round 2, winner Tyler Bate. Round 3, winner Mastiff. Bate tries to pick up the big Dave Mastiff, who's like 300 plus pounds, and tries to do the spin on him, and he gets him up, and Dave flips it around into a crucifix bomb. Looked absolutely amazing. Tyler Bate is also in the same vein of Finn Balor, where there's just like no fat on this man's body. Round 4, no winner. Round 5, winner Tyler Bate. He actually did get him up, did the airplane spin on this big SOB, and threw him. It was amazing. You could see the muscle in his legs and his thighs firing as he hoisted him up in a great, like almost like a clean and jerk motion, how he got him up. Gorgeous. Love this match. Watch the opener. Great, great, great match. Match 2, Danny Jones versus Tio Man. Okay.
3 minutes and 33 seconds.
It felt like it went on forever. Danny Jones, first match. Tio Man, first match. Tio Man is a 12-year vet. Tio Man is the guy who was cutting those weird promos that I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Nothing about his promos made me think that this was his character. He was like a weird... He's like half German. I think he's from Berlin, and half Turkish is what they said.
Okay.
So he's got an interesting background, but he cut this weird promo about like his family and his earnings, and he was going to do this. But then he comes out and he's like pointing to his eye, and they're saying that's his evil eye when he locks onto a person. It was kind of throwing me off because that's kind of like Joe Coffey's thing with the teardrop. Nothing about the way this man behaved made me believe that the promos was the same guy.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. Like, this was kind of weird. I wasn't impressed with either guy, honestly. It was a 2-star match, fair TV match. Both guys were working hard for their debut, but it was clear one guy was supposed to be the winner, the other guy was supposed to be the loser, and yeah, okay. Hopefully we'll see more from Tio Man. Apparently he has a win over Timothy Thatcher, as well as others that we are very high on the show. Pre-tape, more Zaya Brookside, Nia Samuel slave stuff. Doesn't sound as interesting as what you would think. She made her clean her house, and then like after she hand washed all the dishes, she found out there was a actual dishwasher in the house. Eddie Dennis tortures Wild Boar, says it's his fault that they got beat up at the show in the street fight match versus Flash Morgan and the other guy who's also on the show at the end of the week. I can't remember who his name is. Mark Andrews, thank you. I'm glad you were there for me, man. You were just leaving me to die on the vine there. Okay, so basically, he's got a new Hunt member. They shot this in a weird pre-tape. It was almost like Walking Dead style, is kind of how it was. Because, like, Wild Boar was, like, on the ground, and there was flames, and the camera angle was, like, a weird side angle, like Battlefield Earth shooting up at Eddie Dennis. And then Wild Boar gets, like, sucked into the darkness while Primate's there, and then this other big tattooed guy comes in. I think it was T-Bone? What's his name? T-Bone Walker, whatever it is, the guy with all the big tattoos and everything down.
Okay.
I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on it. The internet probably knows who this guy is, or it's a brand new guy that we've never seen before. Gallus is in a bar. They reflect on the fact that they lost the tag champions. They also reflect on the fact that my man Joe Coffey does not have a title, nor in the main event picture right now. And basically they said we need to remind everybody that Gallus is on top. I love Gallus. God, I love Gallus. I need to get all three of them. Match 3, Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan versus Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. See, I told you we'd get to them. Williams gets busted open in the mouth at one point. It seems like Kenny Williams, who just came back from an injury a couple weeks ago, might be turning evil. Winner is Williams and Jordan. This was about a 3-star match. I really enjoyed this.
11 minutes.
The story here was good. It wasn't super overplayed. Essentially, the idea is that Jordan has been saying, Kenny's not on the we're on the same wavelength. We want to win, but Kenny's kind of doing some stuff that we're not. We both agree we're going to do it straight this time, right? We're going to play it fair, and they don't. Kenny does a couple little cheat to win things at the end. Jordan's like, we talked about this. WTF? What's going on? They're setting up a good story. That's fine. Both these guys are good. All 4 of these guys are really good, and I liked them. Ilya Dragunov speaks next week. Trent Seven is training. He has a buddy, Tyler Bate, who, as we know, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, very long, close relationship. He's helping Trent lose the weight so that way he can get down. Trent has said that he has not weighed himself during this entire workout regime, that he will weigh himself when he weighs in at the event.
So he won't make weight.
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see here. If he is one, I don't know if they're going to rig it. If it's part of the story, who knows? But if this guy really is just busting his ass to get down to this weight, like the promos that they're showing makes him look like he's working really, really
So they
hard.
are really weighing him.
I don't know, maybe. Ben Carter is very boring, so he decided to change his name to Nathan Frazier. So he changed his boring name from Ben Carter to Nathan Frazier, which is equally a boring name. He should have named himself like Mad Dog or Chains or like anything other than another two-name person. I don't know. Why did he do this?
No idea.
Why did he? I mean, and why is NXT UK doing this? Where we just had a guy a couple weeks ago debut and said, "That's not my name. My name's Saul Samuels. Everybody knows that I'm Saul Samuels." So then Ben Carter, who everybody knows as Ben Carter, has said that he's tired of people calling him the protege Ben Carter. So now he changes his name to some bland ass name.
Ben Carter showed up in NXT UK.
Yeah, Seth Rollins' protege.
He was on AEW like 3 weeks ago.
No, not the same guy.
Black guy?
No, white guy, British guy.
There's another Ben Carter who's a black guy that was on AEW.
Maybe that's why he changed his name. Next week, Walter speaks as well. Question marks.
Cool.
Okay, I need points, Walter. Come on. Match 4, Joseph Connor and Ginny versus Piper Niven and Jack Stars. If you remember, this happened because this is the first mixed tag match. It is being contested under the rules that if a male is in the ring, the female has to get out. If a female is in the ring, the male has to get out.
Standard WWE.
Has to be that. Yes. Winter Piper and Jack Stars. This was 2 stars. It was blah. I didn't really care for either of it. And it was very weird, too, that Piper's being built up as... She was almost on, like, the Nia Jax evil turn, but then she comes out with Jax Stars guy, and they had this thing where... So, like, they were, like, happy, and they would fist bump, and they both had, like, different, like, insignias that they would do. Like, when they did the fist bump, and they would change it up and do stuff right. And, like, I thought she was turning evil. Okay. Basically... If you want to watch the tag match for a pretty good story, and, you know, if you get Flash Morgan and Mark Andrews working, they're pretty good. And watch the opener because Tyler Bate, as we've talked about, is absolutely one of our favorites. And maybe next week we'll get some of these threads tied up. So that's NXT UK, everybody.
Sorry about interrupting you a minute ago.
It's fine. You were excited.
We're going to get to Ring of Honor and the Impact pay-per-view.